us know when y'all are ready.
Everybody ready?
Well, good afternoon. Thank y'all for coming. Just want to give y'all a brief update on the Choc family investigation. I have with us today is Sarah Jones with the FBI and PJ with the Department of Homeland Security Investigations. Wanted to first say that, you know, our suspect's real name is Hector Gamilio Argueta Guerrera. He's 27 years old and has an extensive history in extensive violent criminal history in El Salvador. Some of his history includes terrorism-related charges. He still has 2 active warrants related to terrorism and has previous history of aggravated homicide in El Salvador. So, you know, he's clearly a much more dangerous individual than what we originally thought. We're still very much digging into his past, and this is still very much an active investigation. So I would like, if y'all have specific questions regarding the international stuff, I will defer to my federal partners on that. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer what I can, you know, before jumping over to them.
Well, do you have any idea of if they're even dead or alive at this point?
We do not. But we remain hopeful that they're alive somewhere.
Are there any other persons of interest connected with this that you're looking for?
I won't say looking for. We have identified some additional people that we have chatted with and want to chat with. But, you know, again, that's still very much an active investigation.
How hard is it to work with other countries like this and get that information? Because I have an extensive history out of Texas, out of Jackson County, Mississippi, of this guy committing crimes, never being deported. I mean, had the U.S. known about these serious crimes, could that have caused deportation no matter who was president at the time?
Well, and I'll let PJ speak more to that, but the way it's explained to me, El Salvador had a protected status during that time, regardless of your criminal history, and therefore he was released, which makes no sense to me.
Can you explain that further as far as the protected status?
Yeah.
He was fleeing El Salvador because he thought that he was a victim of some crime?
I'll let HSI answer more specifically to that.
What connects the suspect and the family? Like, what do we think is the reason for this kidnapping?
Yeah, we don't really know a reason, you know, but everyone involved is involved in the painting industry in some way, shape, or form, and they all knew one another through that occupation, and pretty much all were here illegally.
What year did this allegedly happen in El Salvador as far as these warrants against?
There's a number, it spreads over a number of years. So we're going to provide y'all with some documents that will lay out the different charges in different years. Again, they just word things a lot differently, and their process is different over there.
And I asked that because the record you guys sent us from the United States, Texas, and all that was from 2015 on. So was he going back and forth to El Salvador, or was this before?
You know, again, there's some things on here from 2015, 2016, 2024. I mean, so yeah, it's just, you'll have the documents with what the specific charges are and where the offenses occurred.
So likely he was going between countries.
It appears so.
Do you have him connected to any organized crime family or group like MS-13 or any of the others?
There is a gang affiliation, and then again, I'll defer to DHS to talk more about that.
So kind of like, where are we on the search right now? You had said, you know, we're hopeful that they're still alive. Like, kind of, what are we doing now to like try to find them? Where are we looking, and kind of walk us through the process?
Yeah, there's still some, I guess, electronic data that we're going through. We're going back and looking, you know, could we look a little more detailed in these areas, just kind of backtracking that night. And then there's some, you know, FBI will talk about, we are getting some tips in, and we're following up leads on that. So.
Are investigators looking for the family outside of Mobile County, outside the city, or the country?
I mean, they're in NCIC, so that's a national database. Sarah?
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Jones. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Mobile Field Office. As announced last week, the FBI is offering a reward of up to $15,000 for information leading to the location and or recovery of missing Choc family members, Aurelia, Zuletta, and Anthony. Anyone with information concerning this case is asked to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Tips can also be submitted online at fbi.gov/ChocFamily. The online portal allows for uploading of information to include photos and video as well. We will review every lead submitted either by phone or via the online portal, and if credible, we will pursue that lead accordingly. We continue to urge the public to come forward and provide information to us. Thank you.
We have received information that he is a documented member of the Sureños, transnational criminal organization in El Salvador. To try to answer some of your questions, getting back there, the best of my information we're trying to put together is, looks like he was, El Salvador was a temporary protective status. There was no removals back to El Salvador at the time in 2021. That's why he was released after being ordered deported from the United States. I think it's fair to say we don't know if he was going back and forth. They could have long-term cases like we have long-term investigations where he was charged much later on in a conspiracy, and that could function as to why the dates differ from times we have him here. But you know, that's some of the stuff that we can't get into from El Salvador.
What would be his reason for being?
Your guess is as good as mine.
So, do you, I mean, you cast a wide net, and I look at, when I go to the FBI site, and I see all the pictures up there, including Jeffries and everybody else. Is there anything in this situation that jumps out and makes this unique to other cases that you followed or pursued? Is there anything that makes this, it's all unusual, but even more unusual or outstanding?
So me personally, I guess, you know, after about 20 years, you can expect the unexpected in these cases. You never know what you're going to get in any given day, and I'm sure these folks up here will have the same experiences. Every case is different. It's a pretty broad brush there. I wish I could narrow it down for you, but that's really the truth of it. Is every case is different. Never know what to expect on any given day. Can never take anything under assumption.
What should we be looking for as just people in the community? I mean, what should we be aware of? I mean, everybody's aware of the story, but maybe we should be paying more attention to things that might be out of place or unusual.
Paul, you want that one?
Yeah, I mean, you know, first to answer, you know, your first question is, you know, as far as being unusual, it's the first time, you know, in my career here in Mobile, we've had an entire family go missing. And I think that's unique anywhere. But as far as what should be looking for, you know, giving, I guess, the current situation, not only here but around the country, some of these people, they are here illegally, but some of them are being trafficked. And, you know, we should be mindful to look for those people who may have concern on their face, especially children, you know, women and children. But, you know, we're all, you know, old enough to recognize when something's not right. And, you know, I always say if something looks strange, call us. That's what you pay us to do. We'll check it out. If it's nothing, it's nothing. But, you know, it could be that one phone call that saves somebody.
Do you feel, I mean, bringing that up in human trafficking and looking at those pictures, is that part of your gut instinct that this might be their fate, or is it just one avenue that you all are looking at because it could be a variety?
I would say it's just one avenue. You know, there are a number of scenarios that you know we've discussed and are looking at, and you know that there's, you know, we've talked before about the father of the 2-year-old, you know, had an interest in coming to pick that child up. He was arrested before he could do that, but you know, that's always an option, you know, that he had someone do it. We really don't know, and that's why we're asking for the public's help.
Have you gotten any of the DNA from the van yet that we can talk about in the investigation?
Did y'all do what? Yeah, can't speak of that yet.
Do you anticipate putting any more names out in the very near future that we should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, it depends on how the investigation progresses. Yeah, and because we literally are not leaving any stone unturned, and it's still to this day an around-the-clock operation.
And I guess for you guys, with the U visa we talked about, has that led any tips? And then with now the reward, have y'all gotten any tips you wouldn't have maybe from the Hispanic community at all since that's been going through? Is it still kind of been quiet on that end?
I mean, regarding you know, any visas or the U visas specifically or any of those, I think there's always a pathway to take in information from somebody, no matter where they are and what status they have in here in the country. And that's something that goes on within any case there is. If somebody is going to provide material support to an investigation, you know, that at that point there's a conversation between the prosecutor's office and the investigating agencies to determine the value of the information, and then a determination is made upon providing some sort of status. So that's always at play in a tool that is used. But to say that any information specifically has come from that, I was not here for that press conference, so I can't speak to that specifically.
And I just want to clarify, I'm sorry while you're
Yeah,
up there.
sure.
So if this happened in El Salvador, we knew about the United States. They weren't taking back that we could not deport, even though we knew he had terrorism and homicide, or how does that work? I mean, you would think this is the worst of the worst, and under whoever's president, they would want to deport this guy. Is it like?
Sure, I'd hope so, but I just can't speak to how El Salvador law enforcement functions and their extradition process. You know, obviously in the U.S. we have a very clearly defined extradition process, and we can speak to that because we've done it and have been trained on it, but I can't speak to theirs.
It's not a thing where we can take him, drop him off back over there type situation.
Make things easier. No.
I guess that's been my angle through all of this. Why was he still here? Why was he still here?
And it does seem, when we're looking at the pattern of deportations right now, which seems to be fairly easy, pick them up and send them home. It does seem odd that somebody that should be the target of that very specific idea isn't.
I'll say what the federal partners can't say is Biden's policies is the reason this guy's on the street. Plain and simple.
In what way?
That was his policy to make that a protected status and to release all these people who had final orders of deportation. And that's why we've had these violent criminals all around the country killing U.S. citizens.
So what happens now? Is there a fear of this man within the community that's keeping people silent, or is the fear that they themselves could be deported if they speak up?
I'd say either or. I don't feel like, especially under the current administration, should something, fall through with the charges here, I feel confident saying he'd be deported back to El Salvador. And, as far as people being fearful, I understand that, and we're trying to bridge that gap, and we'll continue to try to bridge that gap. And we've made it clear through various communications, if they have some information, we're not interested in their status.
Is the suspect talking? Has he said anything?
Can't get into that.
Where is he now?
Metro jail.
What about the sister? She was picked up in Baldwin County after the chase for eluding. Does she have more of an involvement? Is that something y'all looking into with her? Talking about Hector or Juan Carlos' sister.
I didn't participate in that interview, so do y'all know what her status is in Baldwin County? As far as I know, I think she has a detainer, so I'm sure she's still in Baldwin County.
But maybe she knows something. That's
She's
right.
been interviewed, I just don't know the details of that interview. Anything else? Well, again, thank y'all, and as more information develops, we'll get it out to y'all.